But that means after this, you're going to have to inspire the devotees in Pune even more.
When I was first going to Pune in 1997, when I was becoming the president of Pune temple, I asked His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, Maharaj, what are your instructions for me as a temple president? So some 6 instructions he has given, how to deal with congregation and how to deal with brahmacharis, many things. One of the first instructions that His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj gave me is, he told me that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj is my senior god brother, and I see him with great reverence. And in India, he said His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, both are very senior people. They were actually taking care of whole India at one time. So you are going to be working under him in a managerial capacity. So if you please him, you will please me, he said. So I took it to my heart very seriously. And then after that, I have been working very closely with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I knew that if he is pleased and he puts one word to my spiritual master will be very pleased with me. So that's how I was able to get closer to him and work with him. So I learned many, many lessons from him. We observed that over the years he shared certain things with us about book distribution. He was telling, and once I asked Zon Gopaksha Maharaj foolishly that, Maharaj, do you also go to Russia? I asked him. He said, you are asking whether I go to Russia? I speak in Russian language. He said, there are more than 50 centers I visit in Russia. There are many of disabled Russians are very serious about Krishna consciousness. Then he started telling some stories about the Russian preaching. He said in the early days when the books were printed, they had to be printed under the ground. They had a cellar type of thing. And in those days, there would be press below and they would print the books and nobody knows who owns the press. But books would be printed there and they were going out. So Maharaj was telling that many people took life risk even, or a very long duration of risk and things like that, in the jail and everything. But he said they were willing to align and cooperate and produce books and distribute. So Maharaj said, although they worked very hard in the early days and struggled, eventually it came out very well. Books started going. And then he was making another point that some people argue that so many books have gone, where are the devotees? So he was telling, actually the books are like time bomb. They will go, he was telling that some old man took a book but his grandson became a devotee in ISKCON. So he said the books are actually meant for somebody. And Krishna arranges the book to reach the sincere soul, wherever they may be. The sincere soul may be in the house, but the grandfather becomes a medium to carry the book to the boy. So we found that he is very deeply convinced about the books bringing about a large-scale transformation in society. Many of the lectures he would give in Pune, even at other times, not only during the book marathon time, he would always plant certain pastimes in his lectures where he will bring about the point of book distribution. For example, once he was speaking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu having many mangoes to distribute. He was saying that I don't have enough people to distribute. I need more distributors of this mango. Because some people may not come and pick up the mango, so somebody has to reach out to them. So Maharaj used to say that we have come to this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission to reach out this mercy, which is like mango, like mercy, through the books. So Prabhupada wants our help. Every one of you is required to take this as your serious service. And also, whenever anybody, his disciples go to any city in India, so I have seen Maharaj telling them 3 things. He would always tell them that every Sunday you should be in the ISKCON temple. You should go to the local ISKCON temple and you should not be sitting at home. In whichever city, because he would say that ISKCON temple is like Prabhupada's house. Prabhupada is sitting there and the deities are there, and the atmosphere is very vibrant, and you should always go. That's one thing he would say. And second thing he would say, um, whichever city you go, you should go to the temple and request them to give you opportunity to take part in Sankirtan. Take the books and go out and distribute. And that is one service that you should do. And also take shelter of the lectures and the sound vibration in the temple and keep yourself very Krishna conscious. Not just visit the temple in a ritualistic fashion, but go to the temple, stay connected to the temple, take shelter of association there locally. Don't always expect that remotely somebody will take care of you. Go. So, while telling about service, any disciple would come and ask him for service, he would say, take book distribution as your main service. So, his disciples became so inspired. One of his disciples has a watch shop. So, I had gone to his watch shop. I saw at the entrance with a big display of Prabhupada's books. And every person who buys a watch gets a Bhagavad Gita along with that. So he distributes a lot of books like that. There is one of his disciples. He went to one car dealer, and he asked the car dealer, "You are selling so many cars. What do you give with the cars?" He said, "I give a bouquet with the car." "How costly is the bouquet?" "Bouquet is 300 rupees." He said. Bouquet will dry up in the evening. Morning you give a fresh bouquet, evening it dries up. But Bhagavad Gita will remain ever fresh. Even after 5,000 years it is fresh. Would you like to substitute the bouquet with Bhagavad Gita? And the man immediately agreed. He took 1,000 Bhagavad Gitas. So Maharaj would very attentively hear such stories of devotees. And then he will tell the story in another temple. He will hear story from one temple. Like one time when he came to Pune, I was appreciating Maharaj. Maharaj, how in Delhi you all distribute so much? There is one Mr. Oberoi in Delhi. This Oberoi is a young man working in some company, but if you see him talk, he will talk like he is owner of 500 companies. And he knows, he's a very smart talker. And he can go and connect with many big industries. So Maharaj was very much appreciating him. Maharaj said, I asked Maharaj, how do you get subsidy from big companies like ONGC and all? Maharaj said, I have a very good talker. When you come to Delhi, I will introduce you to him. So Maharaj said, we need devotees who can act as a face of ISKCON temples, who can connect with the big mass of people in a very smart manner. So we can reach out the books in a large way. So many big industries are giving thousands of Shastra Dan, Bhagavad Gita, from their profits. So Maharaj said some of them know the technique, how to get those funds, for that he was telling. So another time when Maharaj came to Pune, he told us that, he asked me, Radheshyam, did you see our Mohan Prabhu has come up with a smart box for distributing Gitas. So next time I went to Delhi, I went and met Mohan Prabhu and said, Maharaj was telling about what is the box. So it was a very beautiful box. And outside there is a husband, wife and 2 children, very modern family, looks like IT family. And the children are sitting and putting hands around the shoulder of mother and father, and very attractive, handsome looking family. And he said, Maharaj must have been speaking about this only. Then I asked, what is this product, Is it something for the family? He said, it's for one and all, he said. And we opened and saw inside 5 Prabhupada books were there. 5 Prabhupada books nicely put with a rubber band and kept inside. And that, he said, many companies take 500 packets, 1,000 packets, because it looks very attractive, to give it as a gift to other people. So Maharaj was telling that if such a thing is going well in Delhi, if it goes in other places, Maharaj said most people see the package externally, how it is packed well. Later on they may read the books, but the books will go to people. So he always when he comes, he shares such innovative ideas also. Whenever we meet him personally and ask him, or sometimes in the classes also he will say. One of the commonest things he will speak in the class is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calling Nityananda and Haridas, telling them to go door to door and tell people, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Shiksha. He would tell about that. So he would say that devotees should go out on Sankirtan. If we don't reach to people. People are suffering, how people are suffering. So he would say that the whole world is in a state of gloom and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is the only hope. So people are coming. So he would even tell sometimes stories of how people, somebody was about to commit suicide and the books reached them on time. And then after that the life was saved. So he has many stories on that. So, and also because he travels across the globe, various places from various temples he would bring information about the distribution. One of his greatest joys was to see that the books are translated in many languages. One time he brought a bulky, very bulky book, Bhagavad Gita, big deluxe Bhagavad Gita. It was translated in Chinese, I think, Chinese language. So, of course, none of us could understand the wordings. He showed us. So, he was so joyful and transcendently proud that this book, you see, now it is in Chinese, now it's going to go to the hands of all the Chinese people. So, in Urdu, in Chinese, in Japanese, and every time the book is published, he will bring a copy and show us. Just see, now this is going there. The books are going to go to those people. So, and as you all know, he is the one who gave Narendra Modi ji the big Bhagavad Gita, giant size Bhagavad Gita. And then later on, you know what Narendra Modi ji said. You know, when he went to other countries, he also gave Bhagavad Gita and said, there is no better gift than Bhagavad Gita that I can give. So, in this way, he also would do mass propaganda by reaching out to very big people, like Prime Minister of India. I heard that when Vajpayee, somewhere he was abroad, he met some devotees when he was not in post. He was not at that time Prime Minister of India. So at that time, Prabhuji Gopal Maharaj met him in one place, and Vajpayee was very impressed with his ISKCON. And Maharaj kept in touch with him, even though he was not in post. But then when he came to post, Maharaj directly gave him a call and said, can you come for the Delhi temple opening? And then Vajpayee came after that. So he remembers people very much, and he calls them, and then through them he propagates the glory of Prabhupada. For example, he released the Prabhupada coin, and he also gave that big Bhagavad Gita. So he was telling that, in Pune once he was telling, see, people know Vivekananda in India very well. We should make Prabhupada even more famous. He was telling. So he said, Vivekananda went in 1892 to Chicago and said, my dear brothers and sisters, and everybody clapped hands. Prabhupada didn't say, my dear brothers and sisters. He made, Americans wear dhoti, kurta and saris and chant and dance in the streets, beating mridanga and practicing Hare Krishna Kirtan and distributing Prabhupada's books everywhere. The Vedic literature has reached far and wide. Prabhupada actually brought them to that level of commitment and surrender, giving their hearts to Krishna. How much more Prabhupada should be glorified? So he was strongly speaking about that. So he was telling that we have to reach this to leaders of the society, because if leaders take it seriously, then the other people are going to take it very seriously. So that is, and also he was a very bold preacher. Like once in Pune, he was going to meet one Mr. Jolly. So he called me, Radheshyam, you can come with me. So I went with him. So he asked Mr. Jolly, how are you? Are you jolly? So Mr. Jolly said, Maharaj, I cannot tell you how happy I am. My business has become 4 times bigger. In fact, I have made half my business for my only daughter. He had only one daughter. I have started a new business for her, and my business is flourishing, and hers also is flourishing, I have given. And then Maharaj told him, see, Krishna is making you flourish. What are you doing for Krishna now? Maharaj, you tell me what you want me to do. I will do. Then you should always remember that anything wonderful happens in your life, that's because of Krishna's grace. Any problems coming in your life, that is because of your mistakes. So then he would say, so in this way he would tell them that now this book marathon is coming. Please help the devotees. Give them opportunity to distribute in the company. Give them Shastradan. So for subsidizing the books to go take it to the schools. So in this way, whenever he would meet many big people, I've been with him, I would travel with him. He would be very thoroughly honest in speaking. So one day, when I was in the car with him, I asked, Maharaj, when we empower people, and then they commit some mistakes, it becomes a big headache for us. So many times we fear to empower people. Then he said, oh, Prabhupada was empowering unlimitedly. That is how he could expand the movement all over the world. Prabhupada actually trusted people and empowered people, even very young devotees also. And he made them do great things. And then I asked him, but then what happens to the good name of ISKCON if somebody mars the reputation of our society? And I asked. He said, as much Prabhupada empowered, that much Prabhupada would get behind people also. He said, first he will empower and watch them from a distance. If he comes to know that they are doing some blunder, he will immediately take a flight and go to that place. I will go and stay there and catch the devotee and scold him directly. He will directly speak to him. He was very honest and transparent and in a straightforward manner. He would speak to them. And that's how many of them became leaders. He trusted them, empowered them, and he also corrected them and gave them the opportunity to blossom in their spiritual life and do great good to the world. And he also made people think big, aim at the rhino, not aim at a rat. Why? Actually, we may often wonder how we can aim at the rhino, will it be ever possible? But he said, if you aim at the rhino, you are going to the forest, aiming at the rhino. Even if you come with empty hand, people will say, at least aimed at the rhino. If you go to the forest aiming at the rat, people will ridicule you even for that very attempt itself. So he was telling that we should always think big in terms of book distribution.